Hello everyone, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I hope that your day is off to an extraordinary start. As you know, today's practice is the law of karma, cause and effect, and I love this practice. I think that this practice in and of itself is one of the best teachers of lessons learned. This practice of being consciously aware of our choices and our decisions in every moment and the results that they actually do produce when they're manifested gives us the most extraordinary opportunity for growth for ourselves so that we can become the fullest expression of ourselves, especially when we've made choices or decisions that have produced an unfavorable result. And when that happens, we have an opportunity then to reflect. And sometimes when results are unfavorable, it stings a little bit. There's an opportunity where we might even have to practice the law of detachment because we are more inclined to defend our positions on things. So what I want to do is share with you the application of the law of cause and effect today by sharing an experience with you. Back at the end of August, I had to purchase an item for a costume that I'm wearing. As you know, at the end of this month, I'm participating in a show called Viva Las Vegas, and I'll be dancing. And one of the costumes that I'm wearing is a beautiful purple sequin dress that was actually loaned to me by a friend of mine, for which I'm so grateful. It's such a beautiful dress, and the fact that it actually fits, it was just score. Anyway, I brought the dress into the dance studio to show my teachers because the routine that I'm doing has a lot of splits, a lot of kicks, a lot of lifts, a lot of crazy acrobatic things. And since this is a dress, I wasn't quite sure if this was going to work out right. So I brought the dress into my dance teachers so that they can look at, get their approval, of course, and ask them, like, what do I need to do for underneath the dress, because now underneath the dress is going to become an issue, because certainly, you know, I'm certainly not looking to flash the crowd, and I'm certainly not an exhibitionist. So they said not a problem. You know, what they do is sometimes they wear leotards underneath the dress, or briefs, or some kind of undergarment that would actually match the outfit. So one of my dance teachers was kind enough to go online. She Googled pictures. I love Google. Gotta love Google. Gotta love Google. Everything's out there. She Googles purple sequin briefs, and boom, these briefs come up. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is like so cool. So I take down the website information. I go home. I Google it myself, and I pull up the brief so I can make the purchase. And before I make the purchase, you know, I'm looking at sizing. For me, I'm not an online clothes buyer. I'm the kind of person that needs to try things on because I'm not very well versed when it comes to different types of fabric. And I always need to try it on to see, you know, if it's going to work or not. Because it might look good in a photo, and yet when you actually get the merchandise, it might not fit very well. It might not have the feel that you want it to have. And then, of course, you've got, you know, to pay the shipping to receive it, and the shipping to send it back if you need to return it. So basically my practice has been never to buy clothing online. Other people swear by it. For me, I have not been successful, and so I'm always a little bit leery. So as I'm looking at the sizing for these different briefs, being mindful that I don't want my butt to be hanging out of these briefs, there was an opportunity to ask the seller a question, because this website that I had Googled was, in fact, an online marketplace. So I sent an email to the seller, and I'm asking her all about the sizes, like what size do I need to get? And so we have an email exchange that goes back and forth regarding to sizes. She asked me what my jean size was, and I told her, and so she made a recommendation to get the small medium size. So I did. Ordered them online, and waited for them to arrive. They did arrive over the weekend. I was really excited. I take them out of the postal package, and I lay them down next to the dress, and I find out that the colors don't match. So I'm like, crap. I'm like, I can't believe this. They don't match. Oh my God. Like, what am I going to do now? And so my dress is a little bit more of a blue purple color. And these briefs that I purchased are a little bit more of a red purple color. So they really do not match. They're close and yet not close enough. So like I said, kind of flipping out a little bit and going, oh my God, what am I going to do now? So immediately, who do I call? I call one of my besties who works for Palm Beach Drama Works and say, I snap a picture of it and I send her the picture. I go, oh my God, they don't match. And so she says to me, she says, don't worry, she says, before you get yourself all crazy, she says, find out from your dance studio what kind of lights they'll be using. She said, if they're using red and blue lights, that lighting is going to make everything look like it's one color, and you won't have to worry about it. It'll all look the same color. If they're not using red and blue lights, then it's going to be problematic and you're going to have to find something else. She says you might want to also go back to the online store and see what their return or exchange policy is. So I said, okay, took a few deep breaths to kind of move myself through it and said, okay, you know what, it's all going to work out. I'm not going to worry about it. Kind of going to go with law of least resistance, law of least effort, you know, and try to breathe myself through it. I go and send an email back to the lady that I was corresponding with about the size. I said to her that they just arrived. I sent her a picture of the briefs and the dress laying on top of each other and say, you know, they don't match, the color doesn't match, and what is your return or exchange policy? So I get an email back that says all sales are final. You know, no exchanges, no refunds, no nothing. So I kind of felt like that was a little bit of an abrupt email. And yet I completely understand, because she did say this pertains to all things that relate to intimate apparel. Okay, I probably should have known that, and I didn't. I wasn't thinking about that, because I'm thinking, you know, these briefs are going to go over tight, so it's not a big deal. And yet they've never even been taken out of the package at this point, so I'm like, ugh. Okay, so I already learned the first lesson. I forgot to ask an important question. I should have asked the return and exchange policy up front, especially knowing that I have these concerns about buying things online anyway. Probably would have been a good thing to ask that question, and yet it never occurred to me to do that. My bad. I completely threw that in motion, and ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, I have this beautiful pair of purple sequin briefs that I guess I'll find a use for them down the road, because I'm not going to be able to use them now, I don't think. So yet as I contemplate the response that I received, I thought to myself, wow, you know, I'm a new customer, I'm a first-time buyer from this particular vendor, and this is the way that I'm being treated. So I respond by sending an email and say, you know what, my bad. Thank you, you know, for your prompt reply. My bad. I completely own the fact that I didn't ask the question, and should have. Probably should have even known to think that I wouldn't be able to return it, and yet it never occurred to me. So I'll just take responsibility for that. I said, and I figured at this point I'll give her a little bit of coaching. I said to her, and as a representative of this organization, whether you're the business owner or just a customer service representative, you know your business better than any buyer or potential buyer. And if you know that there are rules or policies or procedures that pertain to certain items on your website, it might be a really good practice to share that or reiterate that information when you're having an exchange with somebody about one of those items. I said, so thank you for the lesson. I said, because the truth is, as a result of this experience, I own the fact that I have these briefs now that I can't return. And as a result of this, it kind of leaves me with a sour taste in my mouth dealing with your organization, because I feel like you would have known your business better than I would know your business, and would have appreciated just a heads up or a warning. Great lesson though. I said, because in my case, you know, I have these briefs. In your case, you made the sale and lost a potential customer, because now I will think twice before I will purchase anything online from your store. Well, I get an email back after that that basically says, well, it says plain as day all over the website, this disclaimer, and she throws out the disclaimer. So I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? If I had any doubts in my mind that I was having a reaction to something, now it's being solidified for me. It's being reinforced because it's like I didn't get any kind of, hey, I'm so sorry that this happened. It was just a mushroom effect. So my point in sharing this with you is that everything that we do, every decision and choice we make produces a result of which we have to own that result. And in my case, this was an unfavorable result. In her case, also an unfavorable result because the way that she chose to handle it put me off so much that I will make the choice and the decision not to do business with that organization ever again. So if you, or as you move through your life, be very, very mindful of the lessons that you're learning, especially when they're business lessons, because people are going to form opinions and judgments based upon what their experiences are with you, which will influence future decisions and choices that they will make going forward. So that's what the practice is all about today. Wanted to share that with you so that you all know that I do take responsibility for the choices and decisions that I make. And ultimately, that's what the practice is all about. I wish you an extraordinary day today, and I look forward to checking in with you tomorrow. Bye.